The Last of Us is one of the most successful video games of all time, so it's not a surprise to see hype levels reach unprecedented heights for its upcoming HBO TV adaptation. But while the new trailer seems to authentically recreate the game's aesthetic, fans aren't actually too sure if this is what they want. Why? Well, in today's video, we're gonna talk about the latest trailer, fan reactions, and more, so keep watching. First off, The Last of Us gets a gritty first trailer. Joel and Ellie's journey in the original The Last of Us games is perhaps the perfect example of how to tell a heart-wrenching zombie apocalypse story. The emotional weight that these characters carry and the life-shattering results their decisions can bring is something that'll live with every player for a long time. Oh, and of course, then there's the intense relationship between our two main protagonists as they traverse through these abandoned cities and try to survive in this hostile world. There's tension and danger in every single corner, and it's absolutely thrilling. That's perhaps why we got so excited when we first heard about a TV adaptation. Like, this is a game that just makes sense as a TV show. And then there were the amazing casting of Pedro Pascal and Bella Ramsey as our two heroes too. Not to mention Chernobyl's Craig Mazin and the original game director Neil Druckmann handling the creative side of things. The point is, this show has everything it needs to be successful. That being said, it looks like fans aren't actually too sure about what they've just seen in the new trailer. Now, there's nothing inherently wrong with it. In fact, we'd go as far as to say that this is one of the better video game adaptation trailers out there, as it perfectly captures the game's gritty vibe and its intense emotional moments. What's more, there's also a ton of detail put into every single scene to make it as authentic as possible to the source material. The humans, the clickers, everything seems on point. So what went wrong? Up next, why are fans upset at The Last of Us trailer? We're inching closer and closer to the series premiere of The Last of Us, as it goes live on HBO Max on the 15th of January. But while we're only a few weeks away from the pilot episode, the glimpses we've gotten at the show are few and far between. For instance, we got our first teaser trailer in September during The Last of Us Day, and that trailer did a great job of setting up the scene and telling us what we can expect from the show, just in terms of its visual aesthetic and tone. Of course, we've already mentioned how it basically looked like the game, but in real life. The second trailer, which was released recently, dives deeper into the story aspects of the show and expands further upon Joel and Ellie's dynamic. What's more, it also shows them walking through the wilderness, interacting with some fan-favorite characters, and some less action-packed moments. After all, The Last of Us is just as much about its emotions and connections as it is about the thrilling action. Still, the reactions to this one, even with that wild montage at the end, weren't very different from the first one. Why though? Like, there's nothing wrong with the show, the cast, or the direction. So what's the issue, people? Well, as it turns out, some people just straight up don't want a show at all. For them, video games already tell a perfect cinematic story and don't need to be turned into a TV show for mainstream consumption. Coming up, do the fans make a valid point? Let's face it, even if you put something that's literally perfect on the internet, someone will manage to find a way to criticize it. Like, that's just how social media works. So while some fans are obviously upset at the fact that it's being made, we figure the majority of people are still excited about it. You know, with the vocal minority and everything. You've gotta wonder though, do these people have a point? Well, before that, let's look at one of the more detailed tweets from a fan that doesn't just say show bad or ratio. Responding to the official trailer on Twitter, SlyFox17501 said that they want the show to fail, further clarifying that they mean it in the nicest way possible. Why? For them, making the show is equivalent to destroying an amazing game, because this is nothing but a soulless money grab from Sony and HBO. The user then bookended their tweet by asking Sony to not do this to the fans of the game. Alright, admittedly, that was perhaps a bit too dramatic, because at the end of the day, it is a TV show about a video game. Like, it's not gonna tarnish the game that already exists out there, and vice versa. The people who love the games can continue playing them even after the show is out. That being said, the show will be accompanied by The Last of Us Part 1's release on PC, with more expected later down the line. Then again, making money is the point of every business, right? So there's really not a valid argument there. Moving on, Pedro Pascal weighs in on the show. If there's one thing that we love about video game adaptations, it's the cast being super respectful to the source material. We've seen it with the Witcher franchise, as Henry Cavill tried to portray Geralt in his truest authentic form. And it seems like Pedro Pascal doesn't want to disappoint the fans of the franchise either. Speaking at the CCXP in Brazil, the Narcos and Game of Thrones actor said that as soon as he stepped onto the set, everything clicked instantly. For him, the fact that Bella Ramsey also had to navigate the world of The Last of Us for the first time with him helped massively. And since they were stepping into it at the same time, it was sort of like a bonding experience for both of them. To this, Ramsey added that Ellie's greatest achievement was perhaps making Joel laugh. The actors also revealed that Neil Druckmann and Craig Mazin, worked together to figure out what Joel and Ellie would be like on the screen. Once they figured out the initial stuff, they let Pedro and Ramsey figure out the rest of the details to really make the characters their own. Oh, and of course, Pascal also teased us by saying that he hopes we're okay with our hearts being broken over and over again. After all, that's the essence of the game as well. So for him, adapting those beloved moments that fans know was absolutely paramount to everyone involved. Although he did admit it was a bit scary knowing just how much the franchise meant to the fans, cause obviously you don't want to make people mad. What's more, everyone has great first impressions of the show, even though The Last of Us TV series isn't due for another few weeks. Some people have already seen a good chunk of it, and guess what? They're really happy with what they've seen. For instance, in a recent interview with Collider, Murray Bartlett, who plays Frank in the series, said that it contains one of the best hours of television he's ever seen. Not to mention, he could contain his excitement while explaining the show, saying it was beautifully written. Other people involved with the series have had similar experiences. Neil Druckmann, for example, said that he was blown away by what he's seen so far from the show. Likewise, both Pedro Pascal and Bella Ramsey seemed really pleased with the way it's come together. Now, we get that these people are perhaps biased because, well, they're working on the show. Still, not one person has said anything bad about it until now, leading us to believe that it is truly gonna be a great watch for both fans of the franchise and newcomers alike. Besides, if The Last of Us can't be adapted into a great television story, then nothing can. So we've got some faith heading into this one. Finally, Joel and Ellie's actors get together on the Game Awards stage. The Game Awards were a wild experience, as we saw some massive game reveals and great moments like Al Pacino walking out on the stage. One of the most wholesome moments from the show, however, was the Last of Us segment, when Jeff Keighley asked the audience to welcome the Last of Us cast. We were expecting Pascal and Ramsey to step out, but to everyone's surprise, Troy Baker and Ashley Johnson, the actors who play Joel and Ellie in the video games, also walked onto the stage with them. All four actors hugged each other to the sound of thunderous applause. Not to mention, Baker and Pascal even bowed to each other, showing respect for the work they've done on each other's characters. Troy then went on to say just how much he was blown away during his first viewing of the show, and then everyone thanked each other for bringing these two characters to life, both in the games and the TV show. It was easily one of the best moments of the night. You love to see it. And with that, that's a wrap for this video. Do you think The Last of Us TV show is a money grab? Let us know in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for more videos like this. Thanks for watching, and we'll see ya in the next one.
No. Your cargo.
Just